just telling us, Sean Payton, you know,
We know what Sean you're talking about.
just you know how much he said he hates losing more than anything in the world, and the fear of failure drives him. What have you observed in the last 3 years, you know, of that, and how much he wants to win?
Yeah, shoes. I think that Coach embodies how I think. I'm sure if you ask 100% of the people that play our profession or coach in this profession, that work in this profession, they'll tell you that it's somewhere along those lines of how he feels. But, you know, being able to spend time with Coach and understand his, you know, temperament when it comes to, you know, these game plans and preparing, you can tell, one, that he loves the game, and two, that he believes highly in the game plans that we put together, and that, you know, he feels like we can go out there and succeed with the weapons that we have. But, you know, on top of that, you know, he's shown, whether in practice and we do good on good versus the defense, or you know, we have an unfortunate loss, you know, he doesn't take it lightly, and it's one of those things that I think that it trickles down into the temperament of the team, of understanding, you know, what the expectations are. None of us like to lose, but when you understand that the head man really doesn't like to lose, and he feels like we prepare each week with the opportunity to go out there and be successful. So yeah, I think that the biggest thing is just understanding that, you know, he wants the best for us, which ultimately, you know, we all want to win, and he just wants to be a winner.
The seasons that you've had that have been tough here,
Yep.
does that make a season like this more special for you, for Darren? And I guess how much, I got more steps to go, but how much do you appreciate being in this position, kind of going down the line?
Yeah, shoots. I mean, I can't speak for y'all, but I would just, you know, putting myself in y'all's shoes. I'm sure covering a whole bunch of losses isn't as fun as, you know, covering, you know, us being able to put together these streaks of games. No matter how people want to perceive it and, you know, try to knock our wins, it's hard to win in this league, you know. And I think that we might have had a conversation at some point this season where I told you guys it doesn't really matter if you're playing against a 2-win team or an 8-win team, you know. It's a lot of pride and egos on those fields, and there's a lot of work that goes into game planning each week. And, you know, when you step on that field, you got to go into each game with the mindset that you're playing against an undefeated team, and it may be week 1, and, you know, you have to have that mindset of, you know, take the record out of it. It's just we're going out here to play this game against another opponent, and we have to put our best foot forward. You know, each week is an opportunity for us to go out there and showcase that. And so, you know, I think that to go back to your question, I think that, you know, when you are winning, it does allow the days to be smoother. You know, you have this joy that is hard to, you know, fabricate when, you know, things are going well, and, you know, you almost get addicted to the feeling of winning, and you don't want to, you know, go back into the ways that it was, where, you know, it's a gloomy day. You know, it's snowing outside right now. You know, there's been times, you know, where we're sitting at, you know, 4 wins or whatever it may be, 4 or 5 wins, and playoffs are, you know, non-existent conversation. And so, you know, it kind of gets a little tough to come to work every day with the mindset that we're going to go out there and prepare to go, you know, dominate. You know, you still have to because it's your job, but the preparation and the mindset is a little different when you know that you're playing for something bigger than anything that you can imagine. And, you know, you're playing for something that's not only for yourself, but it's for everybody in that locker room and everybody who puts a lot of effort into making all of this work. Say it again.
What's that a guy like Elijah Moore bring to the group?
Yeah, man. Elijah's a good dude, man. I got a chance to spend some time with him when down in Miami with Dr. Reef when I was doing my rehab for my ankle a couple years ago. And man, his mind, the way that he approaches the game, his mindset of just life in general. He's just a really good dude and a hard worker, man. He just had a really good practice today. I was just telling him how smooth he looked out there running around, and I think that, you know, our room has been producing really well, and, you know, making the plays that they need to be made. You know, keeping Marv healthy has been really good for us. Having Pat come along as a young guy making plays has been really beneficial for us. Troy's been making a lot of plays as well. I think that our room has been, carrying the weight that we need to carry when the time is getting asked of us. And, having someone like Elijah, however that situation shakes out, I don't know what's going to happen. He's a dynamic player. His speed, his route running, the things that he could bring to the table are things that, could contrast well with, the things that we already have going on in our room. So if, whatever may happen, he'll be a good piece to us. But, outside of that, he's just a really good guy to have in our room, with the mindset that he has and with the, positive energy that, he brings to our meeting room. Hold on. Because I passed him up twice.
Adam Track was just talking on Monday about the importance of kind of spacing in your guys' offense.
Yep.
Particularly, scramble drill.
Yep.
You have one, in that late drive.
Yep.
But how have you learned that over the past couple of years where the guy throws on the move and creates that much as Bo does? How important is that to this offense?
Yeah, it's huge in our offense, and I think it's something that I say it all the time, but I'm a huge believer in reps and repetition, and I think that's one of the biggest things that you have to learn when it comes to different quarterbacks, and that's one thing that I've learned through trial and error with Bo is understanding that the play's never dead. He has a lot of confidence in his arm, and he has a lot of confidence in us. And anytime he gets into a position where he likes the matchup, he's going to give us a chance. And as a receiver, that's all we can ask for. So having that understanding, I think that it allows us to be able to go out and play fast, play free, and know that no play is actually over until it's over. Until we hear the whistle blown, no play is over. And I love that about him. Like I said, through trial and error, I was talking to someone the other day about. We were playing against Cleveland last year. I don't know if it was Monday. I think it was the Monday night game. And I was running a route across the field. And I was like, there was a guy that was like kind of trailing me. I was like, yeah. He was rolling. And Bo was rolling to the right. I was like, there's no way I'm getting this ball. And I look up, and sure enough, the ball's like falling right in front of me. And it was like one of those, like I said, trial and error. You like learn that, all right, no play is over until it's truly over. And so just learning to trial and error and through reps, understanding that, we have an opportunity to go out there and make plays, and you see it all over the film. In every game, there's these plays that may break down, but he finds a way to get the ball to someone that's open, and that's amazing.
So you use, last one here is
What's that?
Courtland, Evan and Adam Troutman had big games
Yeah.
on Sunday night. How much does that open up when they're working in the middle of the field like that, open up the offense, and especially for the receivers on the outside?
Yeah, it's huge, man. It was so encouraging, and I have to think of another word to describe it, but to see Trout and Evan make the plays that they made in the moments of the game. I think that's the part that gets lost upon people is when the plays are being made. Being able to make the plays when the pressure may be the highest in the situation in the game. That's when you can really tell the character. The athletic character of guys, and Trout's a guy that doesn't get a lot of targets throughout over the course of a game, but the targets that he does get, he catches them, and he continues to move the chains. And I think that those two guys making the plays that they made, it's almost like a testament to just how our team is. We have a lot of guys that are very selfless, and everyone just wants to do their job and help the team be successful. No one's going out feeling like they got to go be Superman each time they touch the ball or every single game. It's like, hey, look, if I catch this 6-yard route and it gives us a first down, that allows us to be able to get to another play that gives us, keeps us on the field. It doesn't have to be, this 6-yard catch needs to be this 30-yard play. It's like, if it turns into a 30-yard play, cool. Like Evan's route, I don't know if you guys watch it, it's a juke route, and it's a simple juke route, and he ran a great route, and he caught the ball probably 7 yards down the field, and Evan being Evan turned that into a big gain, you know what I mean? And, I think that, those guys going out and doing what they did this past game allows us to be able to continue to open our offense up and allows other guys to be successful, because now you can't say, well, this guy doesn't do this and this guy doesn't do that. It's like, nah, these guys are just as pivotal pieces in this offense as everybody else. And so I was excited to see those guys have the success that they had, and I know that there's a lot more on the table for both of them and the rest of the offense.